home runs, and those top three batters in their order have 44 of those 79 home runs, but they don't just rely on the long ball. They are second in Division I with 411 hits as a team, but they also have that gap-to-gap power. 82 doubles so far this season, which is good for second in Division I. And this is a team whose depth just continues to get deeper in the offensive side of things because Ava Brown is back in the lineup for the Florida Gators.
And so on the other side, if you're South Florida, knowing what you have to contend with, taking on the Florida offense that's top 10 in a myriad of categories, Ken Erickson, their head coach, told us we need to step up on that side.
Well, and Coach Erickson is not afraid to mix up his lineup, especially putting the hotter bats towards the top of the lineup, and that's exactly what he does with Torrin Fulton, who was in the 9 spot at the beginning of their series last weekend, batted in the 3 spot on Sunday, and he's continued that trend here in Gainesville by moving Torrin Fulton, the freshman, who is on a 7-game hitting streak, into that 3 spot, and the Bulls are hoping that she continues that hitting streak here in Florida.
Well, they will again take on Caitlin Oxley, the sophomore in the circle, will get the start. It's her second of the year against South Florida.
That first game, she ended up going 4 innings pitched, just gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run.
In conditions like we have tonight, overcast, a little bit of a chill, wind whipping around. How did that affect you both offensively and defensively?
I feel like I'm not afraid to give away my scouting report now. I could not stand playing on windy days. Just did not like playing on windy days. I felt like it affected the pitches that were on their way to the plate, the fly balls, the ground balls even, the throws across the diamond, everything. Give me a cold day over a windy day any day.
What about rain?
Rain to an extent. I mean, once the rain comes down hard enough, then everybody stops playing. It was definitely
really
harder for the
you.
pitchers, though, with the rain. But yes,
Sure.
the wind definitely bothered me.
Well, we will keep an eye on how it affects both of these teams throughout the night. When we walked into the ballpark tonight, it was almost unbearable to stand facing center field. Imagine being a pitcher in the batter's box tonight. Full count to Alexa Galligani.
You bring up a great point, though, with the pitchers, because I wonder if we talked about with Caitlin Oxley, how she likes to throw that screwball on different levels. Maybe she starts to work those pitches more towards the top of the zone because that wind is blowing in. She can get more and more of those fly ball outs.
Gets a strikeout of Galligani. Quickly 2 gone in the first for Oxley.
Oxley got Galligani swinging out in front with some of those pitches and then drops in this changeup. Look at how early Galligani is on this swing, which tells me that she did not recognize that pitch out of the hand, and the first strikeout on the evening for Oxley.
Healthy in her sophomore season, missed time last year with injury as a freshman, was part, of course, of the Gators' run to the Women's College World Series. Florida coming off back-to-back trips to Oklahoma City, and while they did replace 4 All-Americans from last year, Oxley one of a number of returners. Gabby Camilla makes the play at second base in a 1-2-3 inning for the Gators. Their top 10 offense will come to the plate when we return. Welcome back to Gainesville, home of the number 7 Florida Gators, who have put together one of the elite offenses, Maddie Shipman, in the nation.
Kenley Cahalan, too, is a big reason why they have had such a good year offensively. 49 RBIs already this season for Cahalan. She had 10 home runs all of last season. She's already up to 14 home runs this year, and Matt, April just started, so I'd imagine that home run number is going to continue to climb up for Kenley Cahalan. And Ann Long, who's going to be in the circle for USF today, the sophomore, has a big task at hand. Now, she did throw against this Florida Gators team when they faced off against each other back in February. She did not start that game, but she did come in relief.
Go, Tay, go, Tay.
Strike 1 to Taylor Shoemaker.
One thing I'm going to be keeping my eye on with Ann Long out there in the circle is how she throws at 3 different speeds. She's got a changeup, rise ball, curveball, drop ball combination, all 3 of those coming in at slightly different speeds. There's that changeup coming in about 54. The rise ball is going to be high 50s into low 60s, and then that drop ball curveball combination is going to be that pitch that's going to come in more mid 60s. So the Florida Gators are definitely going to have to pay attention to the speeds and the rhythms in which they go about their swings today.
Went 2 2/3 against Florida back in early February, and really it was the walks that got her into trouble. 4 free passes against the Gators, and that's really when they exploded late in that game.
It's really a fine line when you're facing an offense like Florida, because you know if you leave the ball right over the heart of the plate, they're going to make you pay. They're going to do damage on those pitches, but also they're a very disciplined team. So if you walk them, they will take the walk and pass the bat along to their teammates. So you've got to make sure, if you're a pitcher here, if you're Ann Long, that you are really zeroing in on the edges of the strike zone to try to see if you can get them to miss-hit the ball in play. And that right there is a great pitch. That is a great location, perfect spot for that 1-2 drop ball away to Shoemaker.
Few have done damage in the leadoff spot quite as well as Taylor Shoemaker this year. Leads the SEC with 63 hits. 2-2 count. Almost the exact same spot it looked like. Now 3-2.
It looks like those pitches are right on the edge, especially that one before I thought was right on the edge of the strike zone. That one maybe just up and out slightly more.
And right up the middle, Shoemaker makes the adjustment in a leadoff single for the Florida leadoff hitter.
It's a great piece of hitting by Taylor Shoemaker, because long after throwing back-to-back balls, you know she's going to want to get back into this count, and that's one of those off-speed pitches, that rise ball that looks like she was trying to get up and away, instead stays about belt high, but still on the outside part of the plate. Just a really good piece of hitting by Taylor Shoemaker to get things going for the Gators.
Passes the bat to the third-year Oklahoma transfer, Jocelyn Erickson. Having a monster year at the plate. Batting a career-high .440 as she enters the night against USF. Despite the fact that, in the words of her head coach, Tim Walton, over 50% of the pitches she sees at the plate are out of the strike zone.
Well, and you can see exactly why already. 17 home runs on the year, 59 RBIs. Pitchers do not want to bring the ball into the strike zone. They want to see if she will get herself out by swinging out of the zone. But even when you throw it out of the zone, she figures out a way to make contact with it. Coach Tim Walton has done a remarkable job with this program. Hard to believe, 21st season already as the head coach at Florida.
Gators have been to 13 Women's College World Series appearances, including each of the last 2 years. Won back-to-back national championships under Tim Walton in 2014 and 2015. Still the only SEC team to do that. Feel like they have the horses certainly to, at the very least, get back to OKC this year. And certainly the way that they have handled the SEC to this point. 4 consecutive SEC series victories, including taking 2 of 3 against then #1 Tennessee. Gives you the indication that this team is really building momentum as we get into the final stretch run of the regular season.
I think that first series, too, against Tennessee was a big test. The third series of the SEC for Florida, excuse me, but a big test going up against #1.
Runner goes, strikeout of Erickson, Shoemaker safe. And so 1 down with a Gator in scoring position.
Looked like Taylor Shoemaker was going on that pitch no matter what. A bit of a hesitant swing by Jocelyn Erickson on this changeup on the outer half. Good jump by Shoemaker, too. I'm always looking down in the dugout to see if coaches are going to challenge early in the game if a runner was leaving early from first base. No challenge from head coach, Coach Erickson. We're going to play on. That'd be a close one. I joked with you before the game. If we had video replay when I was playing, And they could challenge runners leaving early at first base. I would have been called for leaving early every single time. Every time.
It was funny, too, because Tim Walton told us he feels like teams are stealing less and less now that we're able to challenge runners leaving early, that there is video replay.
I feel like if I were coaching in this situation, you almost have to be very strategic with how you decide to put people in motion, and because you don't want to have it be a critical moment where all of a sudden maybe what could have been a runner in scoring position turns into a strike him out, throw him out play to end the inning. Head coach Ken Erickson looking on in his 29th season.
Two legends of the sport.
Yes, absolutely.
Took South Florida to the Women's College World Series in 2012, had his team in the NCAA tournament last year, won the American Conference tournament in 2025. And you and I were talking before we came on air, Maddie. This is one of those games for South Florida that could be, in May, the one we look back on if they come away with a win tonight that gets them into the big dance if they don't win the American tournament.
When it comes time for the postseason and selections, you want to be that team that has the top 10 win on their resume, especially being here at Florida. Anything that you can do to separate yourselves from the other teams. And I think, too, it might, a win, if they were to win tonight, could take some pressure off of the team from having to go into the conference tournament and win the entire thing. And with that comes building your resume and building your body of work, so to speak, before you get time for American Conference play. And games like tonight can mean so much moving forward if you were to be able to put a W on that resume. And we talked to Coach Erickson about that before the game, because coaches have different strategies. Do you talk to your team about it, or are you a coach that just tells your team to focus one pitch, one game at a time? And that's exactly who Coach Erickson is. He wants them focusing on tonight's game, not looking ahead.
Chopper to short, backhanded by Wilkes, and dug out of the dirt by Jamia Nelson. But wait a second, they're going to say she was off the first base bag. Or perhaps did not have the ball in the mitt securely. And Cahalan is safe.
You're going to see some outstanding defense on both sides. Alex Wilkes going to her right, throwing across the diamond over to Jamia Nelson. Did she have control of the ball? That's the question there. To me, that ball's not moving. Oh, it moves a little bit forward there. Maybe that's what the umpire is saying, is that she didn't have complete control of that ball in her glove.
At the very end.
It was close.
It was very close.
Really close, because even though that ball wasn't in the pocket of her glove, it looked like she had control of it with that top hand, but then the hand moved a little bit forward, and that's where that ball kind of moved around a bit in that mitt.
Scored in error. And now 2 on and 1 down for Townsend Thomas. Sprays it to the right side. Fielded on the run by Garcia Soto, who is as slick as they come at second base.
I tell you what, Matt, you know that I love to watch home runs and watch the ball leave the yard, but I get up out of my seat for some great defensive plays, and we've got great defenders on both sides of the field, especially up the middle. We already saw Alex Wilkes at shortstop, but Kathy Garcia Soto is a human highlight reel over at second base.
Kendall Grover, the Eastern Illinois transfer, who you saw last year at the Austin Regional, was the back-to-back OVC Player of the Year, first time in conference history, and now finishing her career as a Gator.
At the end of last year, Kendall Grover, it just felt like you couldn't get her out. It was hit after hit after hit, double after double after double. Really a lot of gap-to-gap power with her swing. She's made some mechanical changes from her swing from a season ago. See, with that front foot, she steps across a bit more. Hits that one hard down that left field line. Last year, her left foot, her stride foot would stay a bit more open, which made it a little bit more difficult for her to get to the outside pitches, but she still hit them well. But that's just a slight difference that I've seen with her swing this year compared to last season, now being with Florida.
Trying to take advantage of 2 on and 2 out against Dan Long, who's already thrown 27 pitches at a full count against the first 3 Gators. Gets a chopper left side, and it reaches the outfield grass. Both runners will score as Cahalan comes in from second base. It's a 2 RBI single for Grover, and the Gators strike first.
Early in this game, you want to be able to take advantage of the miscues, especially on defense. This one is a really difficult play for Dania Brooks, going over to her left. That ball ends up ricocheting off of her glove, then over to Alex Wilkes, ends up being in left field, and because of that, 2 runs are going across. That, in my book, is going to go down as a hit all day long, but it's the play, this ground ball that went over to Alex Wilkes that Jamia Nelson ended up bobbling over at first base. That's the miscue in this inning that Florida has been able to capitalize on.
Had that bobble at first not happened, Grover probably doesn't even come up this inning. And now she stands at first for Ava Brown, making her second start after missing 38 days with a lower leg injury suffered in late February. Down on the count 0-2. Florida this year 28-2 when scoring first. This is a team that scores throughout the 7 innings. Top 10 in the nation in runs per game. And you mentioned it at the top, Maddie, their offense gets that much more dangerous with Ava Brown back in it.
It's pretty remarkable, too, to see what she was able to do last week, coming in after taking so much time off. Ended up with a couple of hits, and hits that weren't easy pitches to get hits on. There's a confidence when she steps into the batter's box, and the way that she lengthens out this Florida offense. So much power, so much consistency that you see from the top of this order, and then you have her back in there, and the presence that she brings and the confidence that she brings to the batter's box just makes them an even more difficult lineup to navigate.
Slow roller to third. It's Brooks charging in to make the play, and that'll end the inning. But Kendall Grover drives in 2, and the Gators lead it after 1 in Gainesville.
Today.
Alex Wilkes is due up to lead off for South Florida and is part of 3 sets of sisters
yes.
on this South Florida roster. Jocelyn, Alex, and Casey Wilkes, Abby and Alice DeWaters, and the Galligani sisters, Alexa and Ava. Now, you never got to play with Allie Shipman, your younger sister, who finished her career at Alabama, but you did play on a Tennessee team with a set of 3 sisters.
Yes, set of 3 sisters. Ellen, Ivy, and Anna Renfro were all on our team at the same time when I was a junior at Tennessee.
How fun was that?
It's so much fun to see the different types of personalities all coming from the same family. And I think anybody with siblings can say the same things, how there's a lot of similarities, but also a lot of differences within the siblings. And talking to Coach Erickson just about how it is to have 3 different sets of sisters. He said the first thing that he talked about, too, was the way that they hold each other accountable. And I thought that was really cool, too, that some of the sisters will come up to him and talk to him about some adjustments that they feel like they need to see or that they're seeing from their sisters. So I thought that was really cool, that accountability was the first thing that crossed his mind.
He also told us that the Wilkes, DeWaters, and Galligani families will all interact when they're all in town for a softball series in Tampa, which is also fun to see for a guy that's been in the game as long as he has been. Upstairs to Karis Pierce, 1 and 2. They're the only team in all of NCAA softball with 3 sets of sisters. Pretty unique.
Well, nearly half of the team are on our graphic about the sets of sisters on USF.
Pierce jammed in foul territory out of the reach of McClellan, who's already made 1 excellent play in right field tonight.
I think about, too, from the parents' perspectives, being able to watch your kids out there competing for the same team at the same time. That's got to be such a cool feeling for all of those families out there that are watching.
Ken joked with us that Alex Wilkes, who's having an excellent season, of course, has two sisters on the team. They'll come up to Ken and say, Coach, we got to get her to step out a little bit. She gets jammed all the time, all throughout her career.
Competitiveness.
They're
sure,
giving
right?
him advice on how to coach the sister. Full count to Pierce.
He was all smiles talking about it, though.
I
think you couldn't help but have a smile on your face while we're talking to Coach Erickson about all of his players on the team.
But I think it speaks to, Maddie, to the culture that he's built. And as you well know, in today's era of collegiate athletics with the transfer portal and everything else, it's hard, especially at the mid-major level, to maintain roster continuity year over year. But somehow he's been able to keep that at South Florida. It's why they are regularly an NCAA tournament contender.
One thing that always stands out to me when you talk to Coach Erickson and talk to him about his program and about the way they play, the fundamentals, working on the fundamental is something that stands out.
Good walk drawn by Karis Pierce. First base runner aboard tonight for South Florida.
And how he tries to simplify the game for the players, too. Not trying to overwhelm them with a bunch of different instructions, but quite simply comes down to what can you do to put the ball in play and put the ball in play hard, playing solid defense, and how can you move runners over 60 feet? What can you do to be a productive out? They work on bunting a lot. They work on fielding ground balls a lot. And just the concept of being able to score runs, because that's how you're going to win games.
I love his philosophy. Get him on, get him over, get him in.
There you go. That's how you win.
How many times did he tell us during our call today, softball's not that hard of a game? And he likes to keep it simple with his players.
I think it takes some of the pressure off of the players, too, knowing that they just have to go out there and execute one thing or a couple of things to where they're not having to do everything at once.
Dania Brooks is somebody he's very glad to have back in the lineup and back at third base. Missed 19 games at the beginning of the year with an injury. Still working back from that injury to full health, but healthy enough at least tonight to be in the lineup. Down to the count to Caitlin Oxley, 1-2. And goes down on strikes. The second K of the night for Oxley.
This is a changeup coming out of the hand of Oxley, and look at the way that this pitch moves. You can see Desiderio set up on the outside part of the plate, but that changeup almost had a bit of arm side run to it, kind of working down and in to Dania Brooks. That is a good-looking pitch out of the hand of Oxley.
Oh, 1 to Jamia Nelson, whose average may be a bit deceptive. Ken Erickson, a big fan of Nelson, says that she's somebody who could be a 4 or 5 hitter at any point this season or throughout the rest of her career because the ball just flies off her bat.
Oxley staying with those curveballs away to Jamia Nelson. You can see that level swing as she goes through the zone, too. And there can be times as a hitter where it can be frustrating because you hit it right on the money and it just happens to go right to people. And Coach Erickson said that she has been hitting the ball hard right in play, just has not gotten the results from it.
Takes the 0-2, goes down looking. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Oxley to close the door on the Bulls in the second inning.
3 changeups so far on the evening for Caitlin Oxley. All 3 of those changeups have come on the changeup. That pitch is absolutely filthy.
I've been to Oklahoma City 13 times. Maddie, you've been many times as an analyst. You've also been as a player. How special is it to make that trip to Oklahoma City?
I got to go a couple of times as a coach as well, and it is so much fun every single season. And I think now from a broadcast perspective, the one thing that I look forward to most is seeing who are going to be the stars or what are going to be the plays that we're going to be talking about a year or 2 or 5 years later. I think about what everybody was calling the dirt ball last year. Oregon's Lindsey Grind throwing the pitch and it hits the dirt clod and just explodes everywhere. Reese Atwood swinging at the intentional walk for her first hit of the World Series in the championship series. So many incredible moments that I feel like are just ingrained in my mind now from last season's World Series, and can't wait to see what this year's World Series has in store for us.
3-1 to McClellan, goes off the third base bag. It's a base hit. Another tough play for Dania Brooks in the hot corner, and it results in a Gator base run.
Sometimes all you can do is laugh if you're Dania Brooks, because there's nothing you can do on this play. Look at where she's playing. She starts off playing back behind the base because of the power of Cassidy McClellan, and so that's a risk that you have to take. I don't think she had time to run up and get that ground ball before it hit third base, just based off of where she was playing before that ball was put in play. You can see USF now trying to come together. It's been unfortunate for USF's defense at times because Florida hasn't exactly been ripping the ball all over the field. Some mishit balls that have found their way into the outfield and led to a couple of Gators runs early.
And this is a matchup that pits 2 of the 10 best defenses in the country. Both of them rank in the top 10 in fielding percentage. Florida has been among the nation's elite. They've gone 10 straight games without an error. South Florida, the best defensive team in the American this year.
And I'm going to shout out our colleague Amanda Scarborough for pointing this out on those stats. How many more attempts that USF's defense had than a lot of the other teams on that list, even looking at them in comparison to Florida. 260 attempts for Florida's defense, 351 attempts for South Florida's defense. And a lot of that has to do with their pitching just being more pitch to contact. They rely on their defense because their defense is so good that they don't have to go out there and strike out everybody. And you're seeing an example of that from Ann Long in the circle. She is just working all 4 quadrants of the zone, mixing speeds, knowing that her defense is going to make those plays eventually.
Julia Desiderio making her first start as a Gator tonight behind the plate. Giving Jocelyn Erickson a breather. Playing over at first base tonight. Sends a charge into left field. Headed towards the wall, and it's off the base of the wall. Boy, that jumped off the bat quickly and died out in left field as the wind continues to gust in here in Gainesville.
I wonder if that wind was pushing that ball just a bit more towards foul territory. We see the wind continuing to swirl out there. Olivia Elliott trying to get a beat on it out in left field. She actually runs straight into the fence. I hope she's all right on that one. Looks like she's back up after charging hard into that left field wall. Smile on her face, that's always a good sign. But a great swing by Desiderio.
Flair in the left center, back on it to make a beautiful play. Alex Wilkes, 1 down.
Hey, let's go, Tim. Hey, that's a good rip, Keith. Good job, Keith.
And now the 9-hitter, Gabby Camilla, sophomore from St. John, Indiana.
Right here, Tim.
Has done a really nice job this year. First season as an everyday starter at second base, replacing, of course, the All-American Mia Williams, who transferred to Texas Tech.
go, Gabby, Gabby. Let's go, Gabby.
1-1 from Ann Long. Smoked to Brooks. They get one. Hard throw by Garcia Soto. And that is an inning-ending double play ball.
This is a prime example of the great defense that we've been talking about for South Florida. Gabby Comia with a ton of speed running down that first baseline, but it's Dania Brooks with a 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. Look at Kendall Wells, 30 home runs, and no, that is not a typo. It is the middle of April, or not even the middle of April, and she already has 30 home runs. That is good for an SEC single season record. I'd imagine that that number is just going to continue to climb up as this season goes on. Such a fun player and such a fun swing to watch. Sailor Timmerman having a great year too for Arkansas in the Razorbacks. Vic Moten having a good year too in the pitcher's circle for Alabama. So a lot of freshmen that are making an impact on these teams early.
And that series win for Alabama against #1 Texas came just a week or two after a series win against the top 10 Arkansas team. Like this Tide team is rolling this year for Pat Murphy.
It really does feel like they've got everything going at the same time. I feel like in years past they had the pitching but couldn't get the offense going, or had the offense but couldn't get the pitching going, and now this year you've got that combination of pitching and offense. And the clutch, timely hitting, too.
Yeah.
I feel like Coach Patrick Murphy just has a knack for putting in pinch hitters at the right time. I'd love to know the stat on that. How many times he puts in a pinch hitter and they end up hitting a home run in the game? Because I'd imagine that stat is pretty high for Coach Murphy.
There's almost a mystique to it now for Coach Murphy. He's been doing it a long time. Full count to Kylie Strott. First-year starting catcher for South Florida, transferring in from UCF in the offseason. To second base, scooped by Comia, one down. Well, the 30th annual WNBA draft is Monday night on ESPN. The Dallas Wings have the first pick, followed by the Lynx, Storm, Mystics, and Sky, and then a couple of expansion teams. The Toronto Tempo and Portland Fire have picks 6 and 7. Coverage begins with WNBA Countdown at 6:30 Eastern. Speaking of expansion teams, the AUSL expanding. Great for the game of softball. More collegiate players with more opportunity to continue playing once their seasons and careers are done.
And I feel like more and more you're hearing from coaches talking about how these players are looking forward to continuing their careers after college, and that's just so great for the sport and so great for these young athletes.
Garcia Soto off the end of the bat, 2 down. The other thing, Maddie, that is so cool about that league is the golden ticket ritual.
So fun.
Letting college players know you are going to be selected. By whom, we don't know yet, but you will be drafted this year.
I feel like there's an element of surprise with it, too, an element of suspense. Who's going to be next?
Olivia Elliott hit by that pitch. She's aboard with 2 outs. So Nyjah Kennedy, Reese Atwood, Leanne Good, Sydney Stewart, and Carlin Pickens have all received golden tickets. You mentioned the element of surprise. I was at Texas when Reese Atwood and Leanne Good were given golden tickets. Reese knew it was coming. Leanne did not. And her reaction, Maddie, was priceless. Like a gasp, hands over her mouth, mobbed by her teammates. It's one of the really cool aspects of the AUSL.
Oh, and what a cool moment, and just to have your entire career come down to that moment and the recognition of being able to play professionally and to be able to celebrate it on the field with your teammates. And I just think it's so cool, and I'm looking forward to watching more surprises. Dakota Kennedy as well for Arkansas received a golden ticket. I believe that was a day or 2 ago, so congratulations to Dakota Kennedy. She's awesome. has such a great swing, so much fun to watch. Her power to the opposite field is unbelievable. But all the hard work, and you just see these athletes competing here at the collegiate level, but the hard work that goes in when they're 11, 12 years old.
High fly ball right field off the bat of Galligani, and McClellan plays it for the third out of the inning. Caitlin Oxley is rolling tonight for Florida. No hits through 3. Is one that everyone has circled, and rightfully so. The last 2 Women's College World Series winners in the SEC taking each other on in the regular season. Should be a fantastic series between those 2 giants of the game. Roped off the end of the bat of Taylor Shoemaker, who also hopes to receive a golden ticket at some point. And speaking of golden tickets and upcoming series, Kenzie Brown of Arizona, who you and I will see this weekend, of Arizona State rather, also received a golden ticket.
She's having a great season so far, over 80 innings pitched this year and 142 strikeouts. So many fun players to watch. We were talking about how many great freshmen there are so far this year. Well, there's phenomenal seniors to watch all the way across the country. Who will get their golden ticket next? Stay tuned. There's that bit of suspense that I was talking about. It makes it so much fun, right?
Taylor Schumacher aboard with her 22nd multi-hit game. Just a sophomore, so she's got a while to go before a golden ticket comes her way. But Tim Walton said, you know, it's something she wants. She wants to play at the next level. She has a professional approach, and it helps to have upperclassmen like Jocelyn Erickson to learn from and be mentored by. And the sustained success, Maddie, that Erickson has had in her 3 seasons now at Florida, something that probably every player would like to have at some point in their career. She has been a model of consistency and draws a walk on 5 pitches.
Well, and it's not easy to do either when you face teams that are going to want to pitch around you, or you're the player when you step up to the batter's box that has the big target on their back, and the teams do not want to let you beat them. But what that does is it gives a lot of opportunity to the players that are surrounding somebody like Jocelyn Erickson to be able to step up and come up with runners in scoring position. Exactly what we're seeing here. And that person this year for the Gators has been Kenleigh Cahalan. And love that too. For as much power as Cahalan has, she'll still go down there and drop a bunt to move runners over into scoring position.
Began her career at Alabama, was a 2nd-team All-SEC recipient, and continued that trend in her first season at Florida last year. Another all-conference nod. But this year, to your point, has taken her game, particularly offensively, to an entirely new level.
And a lot of it, too, when I watch her swing, there's a timing aspect. She's always had the power. The ball has always come off of her bat extremely hard, but it's just catching that ball at the right point on the barrel. You want it on that sweet spot on the barrel, with the barrel being slightly behind your hands.
Chop it to second base. Soto flips to the covering shortstop Alex Wilkes. 1 down. Runners at the corners now for Florida.
So much of hitting is what can you do to be on time, because on the other side of things, the pitcher is doing whatever they can to try to get you off time so that you miss-hit the ball. So even there, even being able to just put the ball in play, have a productive out, big for Florida, but also continuing this trend that we've been seeing with Ann Long out there in the circle of not a ton of hard contact for this Florida Gators team.
Runner goes, cut off from Wilkes. Cahalan safe at second base. And now 2 in scoring position for Thomas.
Tee it up for you right here, T. Got it, T.
Flair to Wilkes, 2 away. Really, to your point, Maddie, the contact from Florida has not been seemingly that concerning for Ann Long. And really, if you wiped off a bobbled ball at first base, there might not be any runs scored in this game right now.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that she is changing speeds so well, and it's very subtle. It's not easy to go up there and sit the different speeds that she has. That's the drop ball coming in at 65, and you can see the down bite that she has on it. The changeup is going to be the pitch that's going to be in the lower 50s, but that rise ball, to me, that's the difference maker. When you can have that in-between speed, you might not get a ton of strikeouts, but that's where you're going to get swings that are getting the ball just off of the end of the bat to induce that weak contact.
Well, it was Kendall Grover's 2 RBI single that opened the scoring, and it came on a 2-hopper off the glove of Dania Brooks at third base back in the first. Ahead in the count here, 2-1. May not be a more improved player on the Florida roster from the start of preseason to now than Kendall Grover.
And Coach Tim Walton said that her and Madison Walker were going to be big pieces of this order to go along with players like Ava Brown, who we're seeing in the on-deck circle, because of that concept of lengthening out that lineup, not relying on 1 or 2 players to get it done every time.
Second walk drawn this inning by the Gators, and now they are loaded up for Ava Brown.
Ava Brown with 11 home runs last season, was off to a great start at the beginning of the year, already 5 home runs for her. Pretty remarkable just to see her back out there and competing for Florida.
How would you pitch her in this situation with the bases loaded in a 2-run game?
I feel like I'd stick with the off speeds, kind of go back and forth between that changeup, keep the drop ball away, maybe mix in that off-speed rise ball on the outer half. I'm trying to induce a ground ball here to get myself out of the inning. Coach Carla Claudio Rivera coming out to have a chat with her battery. But that's what I would do. I would try to see if I can get Ava Brown to hit something off of the end of the bat.
You mentioned the start that Ava Brown had to this season prior to the lower body injury that put her out for nearly 40 days. It really dates back to the end of last season. She had 3 home runs over Florida's final 10 games in the NCAA tournament. Of course, helped them reach back-to-back Women's College World Series. 1-0 to the junior, and the runners will stay put. It sounded like Tim Walton wanted Shoemaker to go, but she held at third base. Certainly has the wheels to get home.
Well, that's the rule of thumb, too. As soon as you hesitate, you go ahead and stay back at third base. I agree with you, Matt. I thought that ball had enough distance for her to take off and score. But as soon as you take that split second to think about whether or not you're going to go, the safe choice is to go ahead and stay back at third base, because you would not want to be the person that's making the last out of this inning at home plate.
1-1 to Brown. This is just her second start since the injury. Started game 3 of the Mississippi State Series this past weekend. Went 1 for 2 with a walk. Came to the plate to a standing ovation from the fans here in Gainesville. Tim Walton told us he had never seen anything like it. The way she attacked her rehab, the way she was welcomed back, the way she hung in and remained a great teammate in the dugout despite dealing with a tough injury. 2-2.
Last time we talked to Coach Walton was before that Arkansas series. And at that time, it sounded like Ava Brown was just standing in and watching live pitches, taking at bats without actually swinging the bat. To see her go from that to going out there and performing at this level is insane.
And she draws a walk to drive in the third run of the game for Florida. Boy, the patience this inning for the Gators hitters. Second time through, really wearing on Ann Long, now up to 70 pitches.
They're being very disciplined on that outer part of the plate, especially the righties with that drop ball away. That's what we had talked about, Matt, that they were going to try to stay away to Ava Brown, try to mix in those changeups. They did exactly that, but she was disciplined, did not go after those pitches that were 6 to 8 inches off of the plate, even when she got into that 2-strike count. It's been really fun to talk to Coach Francesca Anea, too, she's somebody who dealt with knee injuries throughout her career, and she said that her and Ava Brown have had a lot of conversations on what it's like to, one, handle being injured when you're watching your team go out there and compete every single day, and managing those expectations when you're on your way back. So have somebody like Francesca Anea as your resource and somebody to lean on who has lived through it, I think has been a huge help to Ava Brown, and for her to be able to get back to this point where it almost feels like she didn't skip a beat when she came back into the lineup.
Callie Matsuno comes in to pinch run for Brown at first. 1-1 count with the bases loaded to Cassidy McClellan, who has already singled tonight off Ann Long. By the way, Ava Brown, if you're unfamiliar with this Florida program, is a star two-way player.
Yeah, she pitches.
We do expect to see her back in the circle at some point this year, according to Coach Walt.
Felt like great value makeup, though. Next time we'll leave a rag. A lot of makeup.
Big strikeout from Ann Long, closing the door on Florida with the bases loaded. Gators do get another run. They are 25-1 this year in the non-con. We'll talk to their coach, Tim Walton, when we return. Well, speaking of pitching, Maddie, Caitlin Oxley, 3 innings, just 40 pitches, 3 strikeouts, the 1 walk, did hit a batter last inning, but boy, has she been efficient.
There's a common shape of number that you're going to see in that line. I'm going to leave that to you, but I'm just going to say for all the viewers out there watching, there's a common theme that you're seeing with that line right there.
Are you suggesting that I shouldn't go there yet?
That's all you. I'm just saying. The former player side of me. There are some things that just don't go away as easily.
The superstitions of this game never leave you, even when you leave the game.
It's part of the game. Part of the game.
Fulton, high pop up, left side, drifting into foul territory. Cahalan makes the play, 1 down. Well, Saturday at 6 Eastern here on ESPN2, we'll have the League One volleyball playoff semifinal between Austin and Atlanta from historic Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. The match is also available on the ESPN app. One away base is clear for Alex Wilkes.
Wilkes is having a really good season for USF. You've seen the jump in numbers for her offensively, that 370 batting average, already up to 14 doubles on the season, had 10 doubles last year. And what's really impressive is Alex Wilkes was somebody who played outfield and first base for this team last year and has moved over into that shortstop role this year and has made some outstanding plays. Made a great backhanded play last weekend in their series against UTSA, threw all the way across the diamond. We've already seen a couple of examples of the great defense for USF. But to be able to show off that versatility and just doing whatever the team needs that year, whether it's playing first base, playing outfield, playing second base, playing shortstop, doing whatever the team needs in that moment, it's been pretty impressive.
Replacing a great player in Alana Rivera. And really, that is emblematic of a team-wide theme this year for Ken Erickson. Multiple spots being filled by players who hadn't had to play those positions or start in those positions before. One out walk drawn by Wilkes.
Now batting the first baseman, number 0, Gators Pierce.
Karis Pierce played a little bit of everywhere this season. DP, first base, second base. Today she's at first. The sophomore from Crystal Beach, Florida, riding a 11-game on-base streak after walking back in the second inning on Oxley.
Pierce has a really good eye up at the plate. We saw that walk already. Had 22 walks on the season coming into today, which leads the team. And a good hitters count, 2-0 count here. And with that, after Caitlin Oxley falling behind, looks like pitching coach for the Florida Gators, Stephanie Van Brakel Prothro, is going to come out and have a conversation. Especially after your team just pushed across another run in the last inning. You do not want to be giving up back-to-back free passes to this USF offense.
Some action in the Florida bullpen. Remember, it was Oxley that went 4 innings the last time these teams met, then handed the ball over to a reliever. And that is Allison Sparkman getting loose in the pen for the Gators. 2-0 count to Pierce. Brooks and Nelson due up next for South Florida. Both struck out to Oxley their first times up. And a strike after the visit to the mound. Strikeout, battling back from down 2-0. Her fourth.
This last pitch is set up by the pitch before. She got a strike looking on the changeup, so then in the back of the hitter's mind, you're thinking, is she going to go back to that pitch again? And instead, she goes with the screwball, running away from the lefty Pierce bat. Nice job by Oxley to battle back.
Yep. Wow, you really made the flag move there. Whoa. Double.
Dania Brooks has seen a ton of changeups so far in this game. Struck out on a changeup back in the second inning, and this at-bat starts off with another change. How about that? Back-to-back changeups. Will we see 3 in a row here from Oxley?
Working on her 5th strikeout. Buries it for ball 1.
Good job, Deuces. That was close enough.
There's a look at Stephanie Van Brakel Prothro and Francesca Anea over in that Florida dugout. Working the pitch calling too, constantly working with each other to decide what they're going to throw.
And Brooks sends a laser into left field to break up the no-hitter in the 4th.
Great swing from Dania Brooks. They actually went 4 straight changeups in that at-bat. After Oxley missed with the changeup down in the dirt, they came back with another one. This one left a bit higher up in the zone. And look at the way that Dania Brooks adjusts to this pitch. She reads it out of the hand, smooth, level swing, and smokes that ball out into left field.
They have a pinch runner here for Brooks, who is still working her way back to 100% health after an injury kept her out for 19 games in February. And in fact, Grace Chin will come into pinch run for Brooks. Tying run will come to the plate with 2 outs here in the 4th. It is the DP, Jamia Nelson.
Mixing up the game plan here to Jamia Nelson. We talked about she's got that smooth, level swing through the zone. And her last at bat, Caitlin Oxley threw a lot of those pitches on the outside part of the plate to set up the changeup that she ended up getting the strikeout looking on. This at bat, both screwballs on the inner half.
Has such great command of her full arsenal, Maddie. Still is such a young pitcher. Remember, as we talked about, she missed time last year of her freshman season.
And the times that she gets in trouble is just when that pitch is too much over the heart of the plate. But I feel like in this game, you're seeing her, even the times that she's fallen behind or even walked a batter, it seems like she bounces back. Walked a batter back in the second inning, came back with back-to-back strikeouts. She walks a batter in this inning, the very next batter gets a strikeout.
And now working on her 5th strikeout with 2 on and 2 down. Nelson lined in the left. It will drop. And in to score comes Wilkes. Chin is tagged out at third to end the inning. But the run will count as Wilkes crossed home plate before the tag.
Jamia Nelson coming through with a clutch base hit with 2 outs. This ball drops right in front of Townsend Thomas with the diving grab, but smart play by Thomas. Throws it over to third for the 3rd out to end the inning.
More Carly Ernst will come in to relieve Ann Long here in the 4th. And we'll take on the bottom part of this Florida lineup.
See if she can pick up right where Ann Long left off. Ann Long was inducing a lot of that weak contact, so Carly Ernst is going to come out here and try to do the exact same thing. Second time now that she's facing the Florida Gators. Has thrown 62 in a 3rd innings pitch. Does have those 43 strikeouts. 24 walks, though. She's going to want to limit those free passes. You can see the velocity there, 65 miles per hour coming in the mid-60s. Likes to work up in the zone. She will mix in that drop ball and changeup every once in a while, but likes to work the screwball, curveball, rise ball combination more towards the top. So we'll see how quickly this Florida offense can adjust from Ann Long working the drop balls more at the bottom part of the zone to now pitches at the top part of the zone.
2 of the 3 earned runs allowed by Ann Long were actually changed from unearned to earned after a bobbled ball at first base resulted in an inning continuing for Florida. They later came around to score 2.
You know, I'm really surprised that they ended up changing that. I think initially it went down as an E6 on Alex Wilk. Now in my officially unofficial scorebook, I had that down as an E3 on Jamia Nelson over at first base, just because it was a long hop, and I felt like had she secured that one in the glove, it would have been an out no matter what. But they decided to change that score back to a hit, so 2 more earned runs charged to Ann Long.
And really, maybe you look at that line and you think, okay, she gave up 3 earned runs on 5 hits. But again, there was really no solid contact against Long, the reigning pitcher of the week in the American Conference.
And I think one of the hardest hit balls that we saw put in play was the foul ball off the bat of Julia Desiderio that the wind kind of knocked down.
Shot.
Yes.
That strikeout will not count as there was an illegal pitch called on Carly Ernst.
Looks like Coach Erickson's going to come out to try to get an explanation on this illegal pitch. Let's take another look at it here. Watching a couple of things that I'm watching for here. Her footwork. Hard to tell from that angle, possibly maybe sliding forward on that rubber. Typically when that illegal pitch is being called from the first or third base umpires, they're taking a look at her feet, and if she's sliding forward off of that rubber, If you slide too far forward before you start your motion, that's when they're going to call that illegal pitch. It was hard to tell from back behind home, but I'm wondering if that's what that conversation is about over there.
And it was Donald Brown, the first base umpire, who noted it. Jose Chaparro, home plate umpire, Anthony Small over at third. The count is now full, 3-2. And so instead of a strikeout of Desiderio, it's a walk. And now the free pass is mounting. That is the fourth drawn by the Gators in the last 2 innings. Gabby Comilla to second base. Garcia Soto flips. Wanted to go for the tag. Couldn't quite get to Desiderio. And Camilla's safe at first.
Yeah, I think she thought she was closer to the runner than she actually was. You see, she fields this ball in plenty of time. Has to go to her right, tries to run up, maybe loses her footing a little bit, so smart by her to go ahead with the side toss over to Alex Wilkes to get that sure out at second base.
Taylor Shoemaker comes to the plate. 2 for 2 already tonight. Litch at strike one. What a season the sophomore is putting together. Fresh off an All-American season in which she was named National Freshman of the Year. To short, Wilkes flips to Garcia Soto, and a quick flip to first base. Will you see a quicker turn by a middle infield pair this year? Maybe not. It's the second of the game for the Bulls.
Such a good double play turned here. Alex Wilkes, and then watch the quick transfer by Kathy Garcia Soto. This middle infield for USF putting on an absolute clinic for the defense. We'll chat with Coach Ken Erickson about his team on the other side. Well, and the funniest part about that is Coach Ken Erickson sitting here thinking, we probably should have had a couple of more in there. Two's not enough.
Just like a typical head coach,
yes.
There's always something to nitpick at. We will see Kathy Garcia Soto bat second this inning. Caitlin Oxley back in the circle for Florida. Had not allowed a hit until last inning. Second time through the order. South Florida appearing to make some adjustments. Maddie, what would you like to see from them the rest of the way for however long Oxley stays in the game?
The first thing that comes to mind is that changeup. I'm wondering if we might see somebody from South Florida go up there and try to hunt that pitch, because Caitlin Oxley is throwing it for strikes. We saw Dania Brooks hit that ball hard out to left field on a 2-strike changeup, but will somebody go up there early in the count and sit on it? There's another one there a bit lower in the zone. Kylie Strott goes after it, hits it right off at the end of the bat. But now once you get into that 2-strike mode, you're battling. You have to foul off some of those pitches that she's throwing outside to the righties, that screwball on different levels.
In the air to center. Caught by Taylor Shoemaker, 1 down. Well, ESPN is now the home of MLB.TV. Stream every out-of-market game live or on demand using the ESPN app. Blackout and other restrictions apply. For more information, go to ESPN.com/MLBTV. Base is clear for Garcia Soto. Comes up swinging. Ken Erickson mentioned her mother playing in the 1996 Olympic Games for Puerto Rico. Kathy herself played for the national team in the Pan Am Games in 2023. Won a silver medal. Best finish in an international competition in nearly 3 decades. Hoping to be back on the senior national team for the upcoming Olympics. 2 down in the 5th. And back to the top of the order. 3rd time now at the plate for Olivia Elliott.
Oh, that's a nice spot. That's a good spot.
Elliott has a really good swing, a swing that I feel like is almost tailor-made for pitches more towards the top of the zone.
Soft contact in a 1-2-3 inning for Caitlin Oxley. That'll keep her in the game a little longer. 3-1 Florida as we head to the home half of the fifth.
Jocelyn Erickson batting in the 2 spot for the Florida Gators is somebody who has always been known for her power, but you've seen that power jump up this season. Last season had 15 home runs. She's already up to 17 home runs, and one of the big reasons that I think for this is her ability to get to the pitches that are more low and inside. You're seeing her do damage on those pitches. There's a slight mechanical change too with where she's holding her bat and how she gets into her stance, and what this allows her to do, one, is stay a little bit back slightly longer, keep that weight on the inside of her back leg, but it also allows her barrel to get down and underneath those pitches that are low and inside. At times last year she would come around those pitches, so you're getting ground balls to the right side of the infield. This year she's getting back underneath and driving the ball with authority over that right field wall, at times over 250 feet past that right field wall. But you see that huge jump in numbers last season to this season. Now last season's numbers, very good. 303, 15 home runs, 59 RBIs. She has already matched that RBI total this year. Sometimes slight tweaks too can make the biggest differences, and I talked earlier about timing. The timing, to me, she seems more consistently on time, and that barrel angle, that slight angle, to me is what is allowing her to get to those low and inside pitches.
How about this? A hack to left center, drifting way into left field, and Fulton makes the catch. Boy, in a normal night without the gust of wind, the way that popped off the bat, that could have found the alley.
She has such effortless power to all sides of the field, and when you have the numbers that she has, opponents are always going to be looking through the film, figuring out, well, where can we get her out? Maybe it's a swing and miss, or maybe it's where she ends up hitting ground balls. And last year, low and inside, to me, was a spot where people were throwing her, where she was hitting ground balls. But this year, she is driving the ball into the gap.
Rolled off the end of the bat of Cahalan, bobbled by Nelson. Did she get the tag? No. Second time tonight we have seen Nelson bobble a ball, and it results in a safe base runner at first for Florida.
And in this moment, I think that Jamia Nelson just ends up going towards first base before she has that ground ball secured in her glove. You can see her feet were already turned towards first, just moving a bit too soon to try to make that play. Ends up leading into an error over at first base.
Well, I thought at first glance, Maddie, like she may have gotten the tag. Here's another look at it.
Let's see, she swipes. Look at that play. Oh, does she get her almost on the stirrup on the left foot on that backswing? What a recovery there. Seeing it in zoomed in, extra slow motion, she might have gotten her there. Now, the tough part would have been, is there indisputable evidence to overturn the call on the field, which the call on the field was safe.
And if you're Ken Erickson, he's on the first base side. First base umpire Donald Brown probably had a pretty good look at it. He ultimately opts not to challenge the call. One more look at it.
Here's a great angle here. Oh yeah, no, so she misses it there. Yep, from the other angle, it looked like she applied that tag. From this angle, she ends up missing her on that back tag.
0-2 to Thomas. Up the middle, off the glove of Ernst. Every runner is safe.
Another one of those balls that's put in play that is just finding its way out onto the dirt somehow. I thought this was going to be another tailor-made 1-6-3 double play. I thought that double play tally for South Florida was going to continue to trend upwards, but instead, everybody ends up being safe.
Top 25 in the nation this year in double plays turn. We've already seen him turn 2 tonight. But now Kendall Grover comes to the plate. Has already driven in a pair. Has twice reached base tonight. And has an opportunity to really open up this game for the Gators in the fifth.
night at the backstop. Here we go. Good. Keep throwing it higher. Higher.
Gators' lone loss in non-conference play came all the way back in February against UCLA. They've gone 25-1 against non-SEC opponents. And they've lost just 4 times in league play in the toughest league in the country. And with a 3-0 count, Ken Erickson comes out of the dugout to chat with Carly Ernst. Ava Brown is looming in the on-deck circle for Florida, and should Grover reach, she'd have the bases loaded with 1 out. Activity in the South Florida bullpen. Bulls have been on the wrong end recently, more times than not in this in-state rivalry. However, they did win back in 2024 against the top 10 Gators team. Shocked the softball world at the time. Ken Erickson has become known to do that a time or two over his long and illustrious career, and Ava Brown will have a chance to come to the plate with the bases loaded.
And now you're in a spot if you're Carly Ernst where you have to pitch to Ava Brown. You have to bring her something to hit, because you cannot continue to put batters on, give up free passes. Even though the defense has made a couple of errors throughout today's game, I think you still have to rely on your defense to get you out of this jam.
Certainly they have the defense to do it. Top 10 in fielding percentage this year. Brown looks at a strike. If you're just joining us, Ava Brown making just her 2nd start since missing nearly 40 days with a lower leg injury sustained in February. She was carted off the field. It was thought initially that it would be a devastating and potentially season-ending injury. After the tests, though, it was determined that she would be able to return this season and play. The heart and soul of the Florida softball program. And they are just thrilled to have her back in the lineup on a daily basis. Brown lays her into left and foul.
Came back with another one of those changeups. That one a little lower, but Brown just a hair early.
This place gave her a standing ovation on a flyout in her first at-bat back. What might they do on a base knock here with the bases loaded in a 2-run game?
Good. Like it. Come on, 6. The backstop is open. It's ladies' night at the backstop. We go Dubs. We go Dubs.
2-2 from Ernst.
Go Ava. Go Ava. Oh, I like it. Good job. Good job, Ava. Good job.
Attacked her rehab from day one. Major credit to the training staff and the physical therapy staff here in Gainesville. Tim Walton joked if he ever has an injury, those are who he's going to, with the way they got Ava Brown back so quickly.
Hey, you got it right here, Dubs. Here we go. You got it right here, kid. Here we go. Don't miss. Here we go.
Full count to Brown.
Got it.
In the air to right field, chasing it, Fulton in foul territory, couldn't make the play.
Great effort by Torrin Fulton out in right field, though. Thought she had a good beat on that one, but had too much spin down that right field line.
Let's go, Gators!
9th pitch of the at-bat by Ava Brown.
called a gamer by Tim Walton. The bigger the game, the bigger the moment, the bigger she plays. And draws a 3-2 walk to drive in another run for Florida. And the free passes have really come back to bite South Florida tonight, just like they did, Maddie, the first time these teams met in a 6-1 Florida win in February.
It's another run that's come across for Florida where the ball has not left the infield. An error over at first base allows Cahalan to reach. Then that base hit going back to Carly Ernst in the circle, and back-to-back walks brings across another run.
Sparkman will come in a pinch run for Brown. She's had an active night. Sparkman was getting loose in the bullpen last half inning. Now she's pinch running for Brown. Cassidy McClellan comes to the plate. Still just the one out. And Jose Chaparro, our home plate umpire, will give her time to walk that one off.
Looked like maybe she fouled it off into her front leg. That pitch was definitely inside. Seems to be all right as she steps back into that batter's box.
McClellan in the midst of a breakout season.
Go, Dubs. Go, Cass. Go, Cass. Good.
First year everyday starter, the junior from Lakewood Ranch, Florida. Availability, meeting opportunity. Finally healthy after dealing with some injuries earlier in her career and playing behind greats like Corby Otis, Kendra Falby. But now is her time.
Video evidence confirming that was a bad call. It doesn't matter. It was that bad. That's how bad it was. It wasn't bad.
Rolls the 1-2 to Nelson. Foul.
McClellan is somebody who has a really good eye up at the plate too. Coming into today, has 27 walks on the season. Her average has jumped up from last season, 7 doubles already this year, to go along with the 8 home runs, so some pop in her bat.
Hey, time it up, too. Time it up, too.
And she's rung up looking on the outside corner. Great pitch by Ernst. 2 down.
Another changeup out of the hand of Ernst. This one a little bit higher in the zone. I think that's why McClellan ended up watching this pitch go by. I think she thought that pitch was going to continue to go further up in the zone, and instead it drops right back off of the table in there for strike 3.
Ella Wesolowski comes in for her first at bat of the night after replacing Desiderio behind the plate last half inning. She too has some pop in her bat. 5 homers this year, transferring in the offseason from Mississippi State. Takes the 1-0 into right field. Fulton tracking and makes the catch, towing the line in right field. Gators strand the bases loaded. Plate 1 in the 5th. They lead it by 3.
Caitlin Oxley is having herself a great night in the circle so far for the Florida Gators. One thing that stands out to me is the way that she established the changeup early in the game. Ended up getting a strikeout in the first inning on that changeup. So far has 4 strikeouts on the evening. 3 of the 4 have come on that changeup. Some really good arm side run on that pitch. She's setting it up with the pitches away, then working the changeup, and she has been throwing it for strikes. Only 2 hits given up so far tonight by Caitlin Oxley.
Was a catcher for a long time during her youth softball days, but her dad needed a pitcher for his rec ball team, and he thought, who better than his daughter to pitch so they could practice every day in the backyard. Good pick at second base. She's gotten great defense tonight too, Maddie. I know you appreciate that. Gabby Comilla makes the first out.
Making a difficult play look easy. Comilla working up the middle on that pretty sharply hit ground ball. She stays low on that backhand, too. That's the key. Some of those ones that ride close to the ground, you never know if they're going to pop up on you, but you have to stay strong and you have to keep that glove on the ground. Comia does exactly that for out number 1.
No errors over the last 10 games and change for this Florida defense. 6 double plays turned. And they've gone the last 4 SEC series without an error.
Somebody asked me, I believe that this was 3 or 4 years ago, what is it that makes Florida so difficult to play against every single year? What is it about this team year over year that just makes them such a tough opponent? And the first thing that came to mind to me is they're a team that just does not beat themselves. You have to go out there and beat them. And what I mean by that is they're not going to go and boot the ball around all over the field. They're not going to make a ton of mistakes. So you know heading into the game that you're going to have to play your best softball to beat the Florida Gators. Now, don't get me wrong. Florida has lost a game or 2 over the past several years,
sure,
but not a ton of errors.
Fulton mile-high pop-up Cahalan gloves. 2 gone. Sunday night, 8 Eastern, over on the SEC Network. The Rally Cap crew will break down the SEC baseball and softball weekend with highlights, interviews, and analysis. You can, of course, catch all the action as well on the ESPN app. 2 away for Alex Wilkes. When you are an opposing hitter, Maddie, and you know what you just said about Florida, they don't beat themselves, is that intimidating at all?
It can put more pressure on the hitter to have to drive the ball to the grass.
Wilkes pop up right side, tracking. Erickson makes the play against the South Florida dugout.
Even when you don't hit it in play, this Florida defense is figuring out a way to get you out. Nice play by Jocelyn Erickson to end the inning. And the Florida Gators will try to tack on some more runs in the bottom of the 6th.
College World Series contender, but everyone is still chasing Oklahoma after that unprecedented 4-peat.
Yeah. When you had an entire class of players that didn't know what it felt like to not be the last team standing
insane.
At the end of the year. Yeah.
To graduate with 4 rings.
It's unreal.
You almost, at some point, take it for granted, though. Just like we're Oklahoma, we're meant to be in the Champ Series.
I do think that for the stretch, from the outside perspective, you're just looking at Oklahoma going, okay, they're winning again.
Chalk.
They're winning again.
Yeah.
They're winning again. And they did.
Bouncing ball off the bat of Comia, but there is the slick, quick-armed Kathy Garcia Soto for the first out.
She is so smooth over at second base. Again, Comia with a ton of speed. As soon as this one bounces the second time, you see how she fields that ball, immediately steps on her right foot, and then throws the ball over to first base. If she were to take one more step, there's no way she gets Comia out on that. So that quick transfer, getting rid of it as soon as she possibly can, is the only way that she's going to be able to make those plays.
Ken Erickson said, she is the Wayne Gretzky of softball. And what he meant by that, Maddie, was that Wayne Gretzky was always where the puck was going to be. Soto is that on the softball diamond.
Part of it, too, is the level of anticipation that you have to have as a fielder in knowing, 1, what pitch is coming in there, and 2, what the hitter's swing tendencies are, so that you can almost feel like you know exactly where that ball is going to end up before that ball gets put in play.
Up the middle, doesn't have a chance to get that one. Off the bat is Shoemaker, her 3rd hit of the game. 1 on, 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. Meanwhile, the 30th annual WNBA draft is Monday night on ESPN. A couple of expansion teams will have top 10 picks. The Toronto Tempo and the Portland Fire have picks 6 and 7. Coverage begins with WNBA Countdown at 6:30 Eastern. We were talking about winning championships. Lauren Betts of the national champion UCLA Bruins figures to be a top 5 pick in this year's WNBA draft. Has some friends over on the softball field for UCLA, there's Lauren Betts.
Congratulations to Megan Grant, who was a part of the UCLA women's basketball team, too. got to participate in the championship festivities too. I believe I saw a video of her getting to cut the net, which is pretty awesome.
That's awesome. She expected just to be a practice player this year, Megan Grant, but somewhere along the line, they decided to put her into games, which I think blew everyone's mind. I mean, she walks off the softball diamond and onto the hardwood. Talk about a freak athlete.
I think some of my favorite videos of her playing basketball too was watching her teammates' reactions behind her, and then just the support back and forth that you're seeing from the softball team supporting the women's basketball team, and back and forth has just been a really, really fun journey to follow.
Let's go, Gators!
Erickson chases the 0-2. 2 gone in the 6th.
I think Jocelyn Erickson was trying to hit that one about another 250 out to right field with that swing.
Hey, rally time, get every day.
Kenley Cahalan comes to the plate. Has been to a pair of Women's College World Series with 2 different programs. First with Alabama, and then last year with Florida. But this year enjoying a career year at the plate. Has long been a sure-handed defender. Batting .382 with 49 runs batted in. Sends this out of play. Doesn't that seem like a theme for some of these Florida Gators hitters? Career years in either their first or second seasons at Florida. There's something in the water down here in Gainesville.
I think too, when you have so many different players.
Well, the ball gets away from Ernst into center. Shoemaker advances to second base.
Yeah, it looked like a delayed steal. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Taylor Shoemaker. She didn't quite get all the way back to first base. So as soon as that throw went back towards Carly Ernst in the circle, she ended up taking off towards 2, trying to catch the USF defense sleeping a little bit, and she ends up making it safely over into second base.
To short. Long throw across the diamond. Wilkes makes it. South Florida down to their final 3 outs. They'll have Pierce, Brooks, and Nelson duo. Welcome back to Gainesville. The 7th-ranked Florida Gators 3 outs away from their 26th non-conference win of the season. Caitlin Oxley has thrown a gem, 1 run on 2 hits, and is back in the circle for the 7th. Takes on 5, 6, and 7 in the South Florida lineup, and gets an immediate pop-up to short. Saturday, 6 Eastern here on ESPN2, we'll have the League One volleyball playoff semifinal between Austin and Atlanta. Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky will be rocking. You can catch the match on E2, but also on the ESPN app. To say that Caitlin Oxley has been efficient tonight would be an understatement. The 5th inning, 8 pitches. 6th inning, 5 pitches. And already in this inning, 2 pitches and 1 out. What's impressed you most about the sophomore?
Well, I think, too, one, how she's moving the ball back and forth. It's not like she's just staying on one side of the plate the entire time. We talked about the changeup, too, the fact that she's been able to throw that for strikes, but also bury it down in the dirt when she gets ahead in the count. But those pitches right there, you can see the tight spin on it, and coming in at 63 miles per hour. So what that's going to do, too, is it's going to allow that ball to have enough time to travel and to move as it's on its way to the batter. So I'm sure to Dania Brooks, that curveball looks like it's going to stay more middle. And then comes right back inside with the rise ball up and in. So right there, those back-to-back pitches that we just saw from Caitlin Oxley coming in roughly the same velocity, but moving in 2 completely different directions. The pitch before moving away from the right-handed batter, that pitch moving right up and inside underneath the hands.
Comes down to Jamia Nelson. Oxley seeking her 4th win of the season.
Help you. Ready? Swing.
Gets a mile-high pop-up into center. Comia makes the catch, and she does it in a mere 82 pitches, going the distance against South Florida.
This is a really big win for Florida because I can appreciate the times where maybe your offense isn't firing on all cylinders, or maybe you're facing a pitcher like Ann Long and Carly Ernst who are mixing the ball all over the place, mixing speeds, and you can't quite find your rhythm offensively. But to have somebody in the circle, to have somebody like Caitlin Oxley step up the way that she did, hold down this USF offense, to me, this is a really good team.